Hello and welcome to the Halo Forge epidemic. This is AbleSir Thomas and I'm here with the Psycho Duck.
Hello guys.
And we're here with our newest invasion feature, and this is Meteora by Psycho Duck and the Flying Shoe ILR. So Meteora is an elite defense map based off the Cliff of Alaska, and it features a lot of unique terrain elements. I'm going to go ahead and let Psycho Duck talk about it.
Yeah, well, the terrain with Meteora is very different from terrain you'll find in most invasion maps because it's not actually natural terrain. We actually put a lot of time into building our own terrain, and it's an urban landscape, and that's something we really wanted to do right from the very beginning, was to create our own terrain that wasn't like anything anywhere else in Forge World, so it wouldn't be like anything in any other invasion map. Of course, making an elite defense map was difficult because we were kind of pioneering the formula. There weren't really any other elite defense maps in the work, at least not very serious ones. So we were trying to learn a lot about elite defense, and of course, in matchmaking, most of what you learn from Boneyard and Breakpoint isn't going to apply to that quite the same way. So it was a bit difficult, but I think we pulled it off. And of course, the map with all the objects we had to create, or we had to use to create our own urban landscape, was very difficult on map performance as well. So we had to do a lot with optimization. Unfortunately, some of our thematic elements had to be cut, but overall I think we got the map looking about the best it could while still performing well in two-player split screen, maintaining our urban theme, and in general just being a really unique, really cool elite defense invasion map. So we have, basically, it's a futuristic city with, it was supposed to be more like rooftops at the start. Unfortunately, we kind of had to stray away from that for gameplay and performance purposes. But we still have cool things like the conduit running through the whole map, which will come into play later, along with these awnings throughout the map, and just, in general, a cool theme, I think. I think I'll let Able talk about Phase 1, though.
Yeah, we're not quite to Phase 1 yet, but some of the more interesting aspects of the map, just the way it's changed over all this time. You know, originally it was built on Montana, and now it's on Alaska, and it's just gone through so many rebuilds. So as we do progress here to Phase 1, something that definitely separates this Phase 1 from the other invasion maps that we featured is that it's much shorter and wider than the other invasion maps, and allows Spartans to kind of push out and flank outside territories more often. And I think it also helps elites in the way they push and the way they defend. Because it keeps them from being too aggressive, but it still rewards them for being able to push out and hold areas outside their objectives. And it allows them to use their CQC abilities, their needlers, their plasma pistols, and repeaters against the Spartans with their DMRs and pistols. And it makes it fair and fun for everyone. So also something interesting about Phase 1 is that it uses a lot of natural terrain, which differentiates it from the rest of the map. So Phase 1 definitely has its own identity in this map. It's definitely really fun to play. Now, the Spartans get 2 DMRs, and I believe the elites get 2 needle rifles?
Yes. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, they get 3 now.
Oh, they get 3, oh, okay. Well, they get 3 DMRs to push up, which is something that's different from other elite defense maps, such as in matchmaking, such as Spire, where they don't get DMRs, and we just felt that it was important for them to have DMRs to be able to push on the kind of setup we have. But anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and let Psycho Duck talk more about Phase 2.
Alright, well, Phase 2 is obviously where there's a pretty big change in the map. Like Able was saying, Phase 1 was very terrain-based, and now we're very much moving away from that completely. And that's kind of an interesting transition. But Phase 2 is really where you start to feel like you're in a really unique and really interesting play space. And of course, we've done a lot of revisions to this area. We used to have things like death pits. We used to have less awnings. We messed around with that a lot. We've basically rebuilt this whole area 3 or 4 times and just added in all these different elements as we learned more about elite defense invasion. So one thing we learned a lot was that if not set up properly, the map won't encourage elites to push up, and they'll want to either stay right back by where they spawn or push all the way up and camp the Spartan spawn. So we had to do a lot of work to ensure that the elites would push up some, but not too far. And of course, the map is still kind of very wide here, just as it was in Phase 1. Of course, it's a lot longer as well. But that again allows more flanking rather than just a straight head-on push, which sort of differentiates the map. And luckily, I think that was something that we didn't have to learn so much. We kind of got that right at first, although we did shorten the map a little bit and widen it out. But anyways, we're about to switch over to Phase 3, so I'm going to let Able talk about that.
So as we enter Phase 3 here, we just saw the core spawning in the main structure, which was originally concepted as a museum. I actually think it came out pretty well. And, you know, of course, the main conduits connected to it, going across the entirety of the map, connecting it to Phase 1. And some of the more... there was a lot of interesting developments for Phase 3, because we originally took lessons we learned from Breakpoint and Boneyard and the other invasion maps we have in matchmaking, and applied it to this, and it just didn't work, because Elites just play so much differently than Spartans, with their much more CQC weapons, their ability to be very disruptive, you know, camo, evade, stickies. And it just made them incredibly powerful. So we had to change the way we design core buildings for Elites, and that's something we learned a lot in this map. I think, would you go through probably 5 different core building designs?
I'm not sure. I think there were 2 we kind of threw together, and then we finally moved on to this newer one. I don't know. There was a lot.
Yeah, but even in between those, there was lots of little revisions.
Oh, yes.
So as we're finishing up Phase 3 here, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and feel free to download the map in the link below, and feel free to subscribe. Thanks, guys.
Bye.